You're listening to the Lofi Music Academy podcast, your go-to space for all things lo-fi. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of lo-fi music production.
Hi, and welcome to the Lofi Music Academy podcast. I'm Spencer J, your guide through the chilled-out, atmospheric world of lo-fi beats. Today we're tackling a super important question, and that's how do professional lo-fi producers layer their beats? Now, layering is one of those skills that can make or break your music. Too little and your track feels empty. Too much and suddenly it's muddy, crowded and overwhelming. The pros know how to strike that sweet balance, making their beats feel full and textured, while still leaving plenty of space to breathe. So in this episode, we're going to break down what layering is, the key layers that almost every lo-fi track needs, some pro techniques that you can still write now and use, and a super simple framework that will keep your beats balanced and vibey every single time. So let's get right into it. At its core, layering is simply the process of stacking sounds in your track. Think of it like painting. You've got a base coat, then a few brush strokes of colour, and then maybe some textures or highlights that bring the whole picture to life. In music production, we do the same thing. We layer drums, bass, chords, melodies and textures until the track feels whole and complete. Here's the catch though. Beginners often think layering means adding more sounds, but pros know it's not about quantity, it's about the intention. Professional lo-fi producers often use fewer layers than you'd expect. They just make those layers work harder by shaping, EQing, and giving each sound a role in the track. So when you hear a track that feels lush and immersive, it's not because there are 50 layers going on, it's usually because there's 5 or 6 layers that are all working together perfectly and in harmony. So let's break down the core building blocks of a professional sounding lo-fi beat. These are the layers you'll find in almost every lo-fi track. Firstly, your drums. This is your foundation, kick, snare, hats. Pro producers will often layer in extra textures like vinyl crackle or subtle percussion to make the drums feel warmer and more alive. Next we have our bass. A round, simple bass line that locks in with the kick. It's not about complexity, it's about gluing the low end of the track together. And next we have our chords or pads, Rhodes, guitars, Wurlitzers, or even sampled piano stabs. This is where the mood is set, a simple chord progression that can carry the entire track. Next we have our melody. This might be a guitar riff, a vocal chop, or a soft synth line. It gives the listener something memorable to latch onto. And lastly, we have the textures and ambience. This is the lo-fi seasoning, field recordings, tape hiss, rain sounds, birds outside your window, whatever gives your beat that atmosphere and depth and story that you're looking for in your track. When you combine these, you've got the skeleton of a lo-fi track. Everything else is just a taste and style afterwards. Now, how do pro producers make these layers sound so good together? Let's look at a few tricks. Firstly, layering for tone. Pros often layer 2 different snares or 2 different kick drums to get a unique sound. Maybe one has the punch and the other has the warmth, so together they sound special. Next is frequency awareness, and this is huge. Pros don't let sounds fight each other in the same frequency space. For example, if your chords are clashing with the bass, they'll EQ some of the low end out of the chords so that the bass can shine. Next we have dynamics and movement. Even static sounds can feel alive if you add small changes. For example, automating a filter sweep on your pad or fading a texture in and out. It just keeps that beat from sounding robotic. Another popular production technique is contrast. Not every layer needs to play all at the same time. So professional producers often build tension by muting layers for a few bars and then maybe bringing them back in later. Space is just important as the sound. And lastly, you've got the glue. Professional producers use tools like bus compression, saturation, or subtle reverb sends to make all the layers feel like they belong together. It's like cooking, seasoning, that ties all the ingredients into just that one dish. So if you're just starting out on your music production journey, layering can feel overwhelming. You've got all these sounds, all these samples, and suddenly your session has 40 tracks going on. So here's a simple framework or rule that you can use, the 3+2 rule. You've got 3 core layers and then 2 extra layers. So your 3 core layers could have your drums, bass and chords, and then your 2 extra layers, a melody and some kind of texture or ambience. And that's it. You've got those 5 things working together. Your beat will already sound full and professional. You can always add more layers later, but starting with this formula will keep your mixes clean and balanced right from the start. Before we wrap things up, let's go over a few common mistakes to watch out for. Firstly is overlayering. Just because you can add 20 drum sounds doesn't mean you should. Too many layers equals a muddy mix. And definitely don't ignore your EQ. If you don't carve out space for each sound, they'll clash. Think of EQ as your organising tool. And if you're using only one sample pack, this makes your track sound too packaged. Try mixing samples from different packs just for that more originality. And lastly, don't forget about space in your mix. Not everything needs to play at the same time. Silence is powerful. So to answer the question, how do professional lo-fi producers layer their beats? The secret is balance, intention and space. It's not about stacking endless sounds, it's about making a few layers work together beautifully. If you're just starting out, try the 3+2 rule on your next beat. Drums, bass, chords, plus 1 melody and 1 texture. Keep it simple, keep it clean, and you'll be amazed at how professional your beats start to sound. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing it with fellow music producers who might find it useful. Until next time, keep creating, stay inspired, and remember, it's all about the vibe. Take care and see you in the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Lo-Fi Music Academy podcast. If you're ready to start making lo-fi music and want to go even deeper, grab your free guide. Discover the 6 essential steps to create a release-ready lo-fi track from scratch. Whether you're using budget gear in your bedroom or a small home studio, this guide will help you get that polished, dreamy lo-fi sound you're after. Just go to www.lofimusicacademy.com. Until next time, keep creating those laid-back vibes, and don't forget to subscribe for more lo-fi tips and tricks.